We are here at the dog's heaven, what I call it, and we've been here before for the Chrysler 200 and a Dodge Journey. Now we have a project car. This is what I call a project. 2017 Toyota Camry 2.4 liter engine, SE model. Story behind this vehicle is it's a customer's car. It was sitting here for some body repair, and I'm not sure about what they did. They put filling, blah blah blah, and so they started welding, and all of a sudden the guy is welding. He did not notice that there is a fire inside the vehicle on this side. So what the fire did, it damaged the dashboard. It was under the glove box behind it, and it damaged the wiring harness. And we are here to repair the wiring harness. They got this from the junkyard, but unfortunately when they got it, they also cut it. All they could have done is they bring the whole thing from under the fuse box here, and then goes over there and comes inside the vehicle from here and goes under behind the blower motor and all of that, and to the dashboard. But unfortunately he cut it, and he realized after that he did a mistake. It's not easy to find. It's a 16 and 17 only for some reason, and yeah. So this is the old one. See how it was. So we're going to fix this. Now some of you guys probably say, why would you jump into this? This is definitely not going to pay itself. I am going to spend more time here than somewhere else where I can get more money. True, but this guy is really respectable. I just know him 2 weeks, and he has this big place, and he shared with other people, and all of them deal in cars, nothing but cars. And they already, I know him only 1 week, and they already called me for 2 vehicles. So, and this is the third one. It's still a job after all. I understand I'm not gonna get out of it as much as I get from other jobs, but it's about the person, not the car. Not always about the car. Sometimes it's about the person. So I will share with you guys. I know this is really a boring job, but I will share with you guys how I'm going to do it, just in case one day you guys want to do it. And don't get me wrong, the payment is still good, but it's not gonna be compensating for the time. But again, this is still a job. So what I'm going to do, it's 2 pieces, but we have 2 spots. This one spot, and there's another spot right here. So I'm going to repair this spot and wait for them to install some stuff like the bridge and the blower motor piece right here, because this runs behind it or above it, something like that. That's how they explain it to me. And then I have to repair the other one. I haven't done a job as big as this before, and if you think it's easy, no, it's not easy. For example, right here we have 2, 4, about 7 wires, the same color, same gauge, same everything. How do you know which one of these goes to the corresponding ones on this side? You don't. Same thing with reds and browns and blues. So it's not easy. It's definitely not easy to do, but I will do it. My next step is I went to all data and I went to connectors. So I started clicking on, let's say, the body, and I saved all these pages as PDF to print them. I am going to print all these connectors, routing, numbers and views, and take them with me inside the car, because I'm definitely gonna use them when I check continuity between 2 points to determine which wire goes to which. Well, next we have to come inside the car, and what I did in the computer, I created an Excel sheet, and for now I'm using these columns: label number, color, start location, end location. So the label number is going to be a label. I give it to these wires. I use some masking tape with a marker and I label them. Let's say this one is going to be label number 1, color white. Start location, that's when I'm going to use my ohm meter on continuity, and I'm going to hook this right here, and I'm going to go to the fuse box, and on the fuse box I'm going to check this line, where does it go to, which fuse, and by finding that fuse I go back to the computer, pull up the wiring diagram, see where this end should go to. So from here to actually from here to, where's that piece? Right here. So from here to here, and it should go right to one of these harnesses that we already pulled the pin out for them, and I'm going to print and bring with me here in the car for faster access, faster checking. Here's something that I learned today, and it was really helpful for me. You see how these wires are twisted? So when it's twisted, there's an indication that they might go to the same location. So I was gonna use this, and let's start with 1. Now what I did, I went over there, and I took this off, took the bottom off out of the way to have a better access to these wires. So basically these 2 harnesses, one for the engine, the big one is for the engine, and the small one is the one that goes to the car. At the same time, these wires, they go from the fuse box, they go this way, they branch to inside the car from here, and they branch in there, and some of them go over there. Now looking at these black and white twisted wires, what could be coming from the car to the outside, to the inside, sorry. But what happened is, look, I found them here, they twisted, but I checked every white wire here, I couldn't find anything. It was crazy, I couldn't find anything. But what I noticed, some of these wires, they go straight here outside, and they branch also here, so that makes my life with this car worse. And then I thought about it, I'm like, okay, what could be coming from inside the car straight to the outside without going to the fuse box or to the computer? And I couldn't think of anything other than the airbag. So I went to the computer and I pulled the airbag diagram, And guess what? They are black and white, black and white. And these are the front airbag sensor, front airbag, left and right. So what I did, I came with my probe and I disconnected this and I checked here and I didn't have no signal, which this one is the same one that come here. But I was like, okay, then how about the other side, the passenger? I don't see any wire come from here, so it gotta be the one that branches from there and come in here, come into this. And when I come, hey, that's the first beep in this car. Hopefully we'll get to the last beep, I mean the last wire to figure out. So now we have the passenger. Now we go to the computer. We go to the computer. Label number 1, color white. Start location is going to be start location, it depends on how you look at it, but for me, I'm gonna look at it outside to inside always. And start location is right hand crash sensor. End location, so right hand crash sensor, that's right here. Black one, sorry, the white one would be pin number 2 going to this connector right here. This is really important. I looked at it earlier. IA5 pin number 2. I'm gonna say IA5 pin 2 right here. CIA5 pin 2. Second was black one, black right hand sensor, C pin number 1, I think. Definitely is in pin number 1, right? Yes, pin number 1. Now I'm thinking of adding another column so I can add the final destination, because remember we have 2 cuts. So some of them are going to be already good, but others I think if I'm not mistaken, I think this goes to here and this goes all of it. You know what, I don't think I need to. Well, I have the diagram out anyway. I don't want to go back to them again, but this comes to this junction right here. IA5 is going to be one of these, and then from here I will branch to this big one right here that's going to be connected to this end. So yeah, let me put it. It's going to make my job easier. And from IA5 is going to, but here's the problem. When it says here, I don't know which one of these connectors, airbag connectors, this will be. So should I write which diagram I found it when I go back to it? I don't know, we'll see. But this is basically how I'm going to do things. That number 1 drove me crazy, because what I did, I checked these, I opened the relays, checked the pins, the harnesses, I took them off, I checked the harness for the computer, nothing. And I checked, that's when I decided to open this here, and I opened it, I checked all these black and white, and nothing. But hey, you learn something every day, and this is how I learned it, the hard way, but it's gonna stick forever. Well, just to get you guys with me, I'm almost done with this first piece, and so far I got 16 of the most common ones. I am left with these two light blue, one gray, one white, and one black. All I can do is when I have the extra ones on this side, I will find out where they go to here in this harness, and then I'll be able to pull up the wiring diagram for them, because here I'm limited. Over there by the engine there's a lot of components, the ECU, the ABS, the lights, the sensors, the airbag sensors, although I checked most of these major circuits, but yeah, I forget to do it this way is better. So every time I finish one, I label it, write what it is, where it's going to, what's the other pin. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm gonna go one by one. Pin number 1, I'm gonna find out C1, connector IA5, pin 2, and when I find it here, I find out the correspondent wire here, and I connect it to number 1. That's how it's gonna be. So here I'm dealing with the two harnesses. This is the IA8, this is IA5. I have 4 here, and the rest are all of them here. So I'm going to check continuity between these pins with this end, and then decide which one goes to which based on my diagram. You guys can take screenshots or something if interested. We are done with this harness, and now we're going to move to part 2. It's gonna be fun. This is a bigger one, and it has more common colors and more harnesses here to deal with, so this one is gonna take me longer than this one took me. I want to share with you guys the technique that I'm gonna use for this harness. I chose one wire. Again, using the ohm meter continuity, I hooked up one lead here, and I started searching for the same color, and I found it in that harness. So from that harness number, which is actually I traced it on the other end, and I went to the passenger rear door. So I went to that to the computer, and I pulled up the passenger rear door, and I found out that that black wire is coming to this harness, which is IO2, and I labeled it, and it goes to the junction box on the driver's side to a harness B. I pulled that wiring diagram, and I found out I found out the harness, and from here, from the known good pin here, I am going to know which is the wire corresponding to that pin over there, which is going to be the same one. I'm not gonna wire them right yet because they want to put some stuff. They said they had to install a couple of pieces before I'd be able to do my thing. But so what I did here, I used the logic and common sense. Like what? The wires that are that don't have similar in gauge or color. Yeah, the wires that don't share same gauge or color, I fold them and I put them here for later. It's gonna be easier to do, but I'm more concerned about these that are the same thickness and the same exact color. Those are the ones that I'm gonna be careful with. The other ones are gonna be easier to find because they are unique. They are one of a kind, either because of the gauge or because of the trace on them or because of the color itself. So that's how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna focus on these first, and then switch to the other ones. And I think when I find the harnesses, when I label all these harnesses where they go to, I think it's gonna make it way easier to find these ones right here. But a second cut, all the wires are labeled and it's time to solder. Alright, I'm almost done with this harness, this side. What I did, the big ones, I used this connectors. What I'm gonna do also, I'm gonna tape them. The most common ones, I use this clear shrink. The reason why, because it's thick, it's thicker than the black one that I have. And what we're gonna do is we're going to hook everything before we put the dashboard and give it a key on and scan the car, delete everything, and cycle the key and see if we have any codes, any cut in the wires that we can fix. While it's like that, it's easier to do it after we make sure everything is okay, everything is properly hooked, no fuses will blown, and then I will give them the okay to put everything. But this is how we're gonna do it. I am left with 4 wires on the original side, and the reason why they are dead at the other end, when they brought this harness, it didn't have those wires. And what I did, I came to the old one. This is the brand one. That's why it's good to always have it. And let's say, for example, this green one, the thick one, and I traced it, it comes to this harness. So when I show you guys this, so this harness, the original one, clips to this original one. And if you see, this is the pin right here, but on the other end it doesn't have a wire. That means this is dead. So what I did, I just crimp it right here. The other one's the same thing. I use this just in case me or somebody in the future will need them. So I have them, I can shove whatever wire I want to do and then crimp it. But yeah, the smaller ones, I use this yellow shrink because I don't have a clear one, and I didn't want to use this thick one, this big one, because it would not fit correctly. So yeah, after we make sure everything's okay, I'm gonna tape everything together and I'll show you guys the results of it. So this is the first time we start the vehicle after a year and a half after finishing the harness. All right, security light is off. ABS light is off. Airbag on, of course. Brake light is off. Check electric power steering system. We have to check that. Here's a bonus footage for you guys. I know we left the last clip with the power steering message, but now it's fixed. It turned out to be this harness was unplugged, this, which feeds power to this number 1 red wire that comes from that 7.5 fuse under here, which was good. The blower motor doesn't work, and the reason why, because that line is hot all time. So when the wire is melted, that 50 amp fuse blown. So I took it off and I gave it to the owner. He needs one. But other than the airbag system, everything should be good in this vehicle. And if I had anything wrong with the wiring, I would have blown fuses all over. But we did check. The wiper motor is not there. We did check all the fuses before starting it. Sorry, after the first time we started it, and we found 5 blown fuses from the fire. It was a long trip with this vehicle, but worth it. I learned a lot about Toyota wiring system, and that was the main reason why I took this job. Definitely the payment does not worth the effort, but when it comes with a learning lesson, yeah, money is not always first to me. Thank you guys for watching.